Welcome to Love Always Self. I'm Shira.
Hi, y'all. I'm Karista. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Love Always Self. Oh man, what a freaking week. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted.
Yeah, this has been our return back to what's supposed to be a normal back from vacation and retreat and all the things into our normal work day lives.
It's
And
definitely been difficult to reintegrate back into this world, into this reality. I don't know about you, but as soon as we got back, I was like, what do I do?
oh my gosh, I know. I'm well, and when we got back, we took extra time,
Mhm.
so to have, what we thought would be a good way to reintegrate.
Yeah, I felt like so maybe like disoriented when we
Yeah.
got back. I felt like things were just a little disconnected.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this
I
week has been a long one.
It has been. It has been. I know this. I have quickly realized that my prior to retreat day-to-day activities has caused more of an impact on my well-being than I it's like I knew this, right? But I didn't really know this until it was, like, in your
Right.
face.
Right. Like
Yeah.
we were fine-ish, status quo, and then we had this hugely elevating experience, and then it was like, "Okay, time to go back down into the shit," and it was kinda like, "Wait a minute. Wait
Yeah.
a minute, it was really good." It was really good. Do I have to?
But really? I
Eh,
mean,
and
yeah.
it led me to, question a lot, how do we stay high vibe after experiencing that? And that's really, um, still a work in progress.
So, we'll get back to you as soon as we figure that out.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Even just trying to, integrate new routines that is more supportive of your, self-care, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual
Oh, yeah.
self-care. It's so hard to create those practices and habits on a regular basis with every other distraction, and, oh my god, it's been, like, this wild awareness of how overstimulated we are all the time.
Yes. Yes. That's a great way to explain that because I've been like, "What's the word I'm looking for?" Like, that's what's been in my head lately. Like, what is the word I'm looking for? Oversaturated. When we
Stimulated.
stimulated, thank you.
Yeah.
And both.
Yeah. With both, it's valid, yes.
I just keep thinking about that. When we were away, we didn't spend much time on our devices.
Mhm.
We didn't spend much time on our devices, even with the, few pictures and video footage that we took, it was like up and then put back away. And
Mhm.
just to capture those simple moments and some we waited until we got to like the second phase of our trip to like walk
Right.
around and actually take pictures, but we were so relaxed, you
It was
know?
so relaxing, just it was so peaceful because I was really just able to be, and I had left my phone in the room on silent the majority of the time at the retreat, and so it was really nice even though other people may have been, conversating or communing together, there were times where I was just sitting and
Yeah.
just, observing what was going on, and that was so nice to just be at rest.
It was the observation without the to do.
Yeah.
That was impressive, and I miss it.
Mhm.
And I keep thinking to myself, "How can I incorporate that?" Just like you were saying, how do we figure out a way to, like, incorporate all the things that we learned about ourselves and what we like and enjoy and how we find our peace,
Mhm.
and bring that into the normal, not on a vacation, day-to-day lives.
Right, right.
Yeah.
One thing that I did notice, one of the things that I have done frequently is just downtime. We'll call it my potty time. I pull up my smart news app and I don't look at the news really, but rather just stupid stories that are in
Yeah.
there about, I don't know, disagreements or whatever, just Reddit feeds,
Right.
nothing news related, nothing political, nothing climate change oriented, like, no, it's just stupid stories. And when I came back, because I hadn't done that at all when we were at the retreat, but when we came back, I remember, like, opening it and just going, "Nope, that's not good," and just shutting it down.
You're just like an ew.
Exactly, and it still happens, like, when I did it today. I pulled up my phone and I read a stupid story, and I noticed that I started to get a little nauseous and, like, a little headache, and I was like, "Okay, like, is it just my posture, like, staring down at the phone, or"
Wow.
No, because when I play, like, games on my phones, like word games and puzzle games, like, I don't have that same response,
Yeah.
and I think, just recognizing that and honoring that is even a practice in itself, or breaking an old habit in itself too.
The old habits that try to creep its way back in because of the day-to-day things that you were accustomed to. That's pretty deep because honestly, I noticed that I started having the heart palpitations again,
Mm,
right? And I didn't have a single one the entire time we were gone. So that's interesting. And one of the things that I feel like we really took away from that experience and has stayed true to that experience with the communications that we've continued to have with the ladies from
mhm.
our retreat is this overwhelming sense of friendship and love.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, that is probably one of the greatest things that we for me personally took away from that experience, was these relationships that we built, on truth and love and openness and
Yeah.
acceptance. Like, it was such a beautiful thing to meet these people that we've never met before in our entire lives, and have this immediate bond, and know that if we needed anything, we could talk to them.
Oh, yeah, and
And
just
and back and forth, vice versa.
absolutely, and in continuing to, like, practice what we were learning while we were there with them, doing little hunts for something that's missing or
Mhm.
whatever. I do love this, like, I love that we're continuing those relationships and that we're continuing this, like, sharing of our abilities. Um,
Absolutely, and supporting each other, like,
right.
even when, we have moments of self-doubt, like, those ladies come through and they're like, "No, you are amazing.
Yeah,
Keep going,
yeah.
and what you're doing is incredible." And that's, like, the coolest thing. It's never like, "Oh, you could do better."
Ooh. I felt that one.
Yeah. We have this whole new tribe of cheerleaders.
Yeah. Our cheerleader pool grew. I
Mhm,
love
mhm.
that. And yeah, and that was kind of something that I did recognize as well was that I left that experience having this overwhelming amount of self-love. And I started noticing, but I was so aware of it but I would start noticing the little creeps back ends of that
Yeah.
self-doubt. I
Mhm,
was like, "You just left one of the most powerful, and magical events you've ever encountered in your entire life, and validation out the wazoo, and support and a community of love, and yet somehow you come home and you allow that to creep back in,"
mhm.
And it was like, "Okay, give yourself some grace, Shira. You're okay. However, remember,
Remember who you
remember."
are.
We're gonna throw Am I gonna be throwing Simba up on the phone or on the screen again?
I can't help it, like, every time Lion King, "Me."
Wee.
So, this actually brings us is a great segue to the topic that we wanted to, bring up today. So, we wanted to talk about love itself, and that love is just love. And really, you know, one of the things that I wanted to work on dispelling, you know, this is my dream world if I could affect other people on a regular basis, right? Like, I would
Mm.
love it if we could get rid of that, like, idea that love is limited.
Alright, let's dive in.
Like, do you remember growing up and being told, like, "Don't give your heart away."
I
Like,
do remember that.
"Don't
Guard
say
it.
the L word." Yes.
Don't tell anybody that you love them until
Don't be
condition,
the
condition,
first.
condition,
Yeah.
condition.
Don't be the first one to say, "I love you."
Love is conditional.
Nope,
Oof. No, it's
wrong,
not.
bullshit.
There's so many things that we were taught, and in their defense, they were taught, and then
Yeah,
they were taught, and then they
and
were taught,
exactly.
right?
This is a generational pass down and misunderstanding, is that we have to withhold our love and save it for just a few special people in our lives.
Yeah. And you hear it from your friends when you were younger, or maybe now you're experiencing that, "Oh, you shouldn't tell somebody that you love them too soon.
Mhm, mhm. You'll scare them away.
You'll scare them away." Right. Because do you wanna be involved in a relationship where somebody can't accept love from somebody else, regardless of the
Mm,
point in time?
mhm,
Where they look at receiving love, quote, unquote, "too soon" as something scary and terrifying and, what's the word I'm looking for? Where somebody feels that somebody is, like, attached to them too much all the time.
mhm, like too codependent.
Right, or too codependent. And and I look back at that now, and I'm like, "Whoa," like, I did that. I know I did that. I know that if I heard somebody tell me I love you a little too soon, I'm like, "Ooh, that's creepy."
But, like, I don't wanna just focus on, like, relationship like, sexual love or, like, spousal love
Oh,
or
no, I mean in friends and
yeah,
whatever. If I didn't know you
yeah.
very well and you came up to me and you said I love you, like, super quick, number 1, I would have thought, like, especially, like, on the phone when you end a phone call, when you're used to saying it to your mom at the end of a phone call, and you're like, "Okay, bye, love you," and then, like, you accidentally say it to somebody you don't know very well, and you, like, hang up, and you're like, "Oh my
Oh my
god, did I just
god.
do that?" Or you're the receiver of that, and you're like,
Right,
"That was awkward."
yeah, yeah, and now, like, after this weekend, the retreat weekend 2 weeks ago, like, we were saying it all over the place, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
still say it on messages and things like that. There's, like, no holding back, and so it's just this, like, hugely warming and connecting and unifying reaction now within,
Right.
and
It
I
is.
think that's something that should be shared,
That's
not
something that
withheld.
and remembered because we come from that place. Like, if you wanna call it woo-woo, fine, go ahead. I don't mind. But that's where we come from. That's our base. That's our core frequency and vibration,
I
period.
mean, growing up going to church, like, the things that were preached were that God is love, and we are all children of God, and if we are all children of God, then we must all be made of love.
Yeah. I think it's the definitions, right?
Mhm,
Like, I was before we started this episode, I was looking at it and I was like, How do how does it say it as far as defined? Because we're
mm,
so accustomed to trying to define things and putting it in its little box and, like, making sure it only stays in that one box, and if you touch that box, it's gotta be at the perfect timing and all the fun things. And so I was like, "Where's the box?" Right? So I went on the Google hunt for where's the box. And it says that love is a set of emotions and behaviors characterized by intimacy, passion, and commitment.
but there's different types of love, so that is, like, only one type of love.
That is us as humans trying to define something that's not really definable, in
That
my
it's
opinion.
that it's something that you have to experience. Oh, I remember a conversation that I had with somebody, about a conversation they had with somebody else. So, the basis of this conversation, that the person that I'm speaking of had with somebody else was that love isn't real. Like, how do you know love is real? Because we're
Ooh,
such tangible beings. We're so fixated on the things that we can sense, like touch, see, hear, taste, smell. And I think in my response to that question is we only know it once we experience it. Like, truly. I wonder, that's my thought. Like, does it only become real to somebody when you experience it?
well, I think it's more of a that's a tough one because I feel like it's more of a perception thing, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Like, granted, I'm now in my 40s and I'm able to be more aware that it's all around us at all times. I I am aware that love is shared in the simple act of opening a door for somebody. I'm now aware that love is part of saying, I don't know, bless you, or the other one, what's the other one? Gesundheit or something like that when somebody sneezes. That can be, if adding definitions, that could be defined as love, right? We're experiencing it.
Mhm.
And it can be in the simplest of things. Maybe you decide that you don't want to kill a bug and you let it live. That's an act of love. When you plant a tree or a vegetable
Or
is
hug
also
the tree.
hug the tree. She's done this. And,
I did it 2 days ago again.
oh, cute. See? That's an act of love.
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
Like,
but it can
when we
also be
send gratitude and appreciation, that can be acts of love too.
absolutely. Your thoughts can carry love with it to somebody unknowing.
Mhm,
And so when we look at love, as a culture and society, right? When we look at love as it has to be some big grandiose experience, we miss out on all of the micro. I always mess that one up. Which one is it? Macro?
which one are you trying to say? Big
The
or
small
little?
one, the little one.
Micro.
Dang it. Micro. We miss out on all of the micro opportunities that exist around us every single moment in time of the day.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm just as guilty of this, so I'm not judging anybody, right?
For sure. Hence all those shitty distractions all the time,
Right.
oversaturated stimulation.
Right. Right. But I think that awareness of it, it has to start with us individually.
Mhm.
When we start to open our awareness to more of these little moments that is love, you know? I mean, me taking a shower today, I didn't, sorry, but let's say I did. It's
Nobody
self
would have known.
well, now you all do. I have not showered today, hence the hoodie. So, but, like, that's an act of love for myself. Because it's a self-care
Mhm.
practice, right?
Yeah.
To
And
love
and
thyself.
right. And that's something to recognize too that there's different types of love. So like eros, eros is relationship love like between two people that are intimate. And then agape is like unconditional love. So that is like world love, love for your brothers, love for your it can be anybody and everybody, love for your earth, love for the animals. It's unconditional. It doesn't require a condition to be met to love.
Mm.
And self-care or self-love is also, one of the types of love. And I don't remember the name of it, but it sounded similar when I was trying to sound it out. It sounded similar to fellatio. So, but anyways. Something with a PH, I don't know.
Oh
But,
my
I think even with those, like this idea that it should be this grandiose experience is putting it in a box.
Mhm.
Like, unless you know, fall head over heels the first time you meet somebody, then that's not really love. Well, you know what? That's probably lust. It's
Wow.
probably not love at all. I don't know, maybe. I don't wanna say not. Everybody's experience is different. But from my own personal experience, that initial body response was more lustful.
Mm. Okay.
And I think that, love can absolutely be developed over time as well.
And it's interesting because I think that a majority of us are just constantly reaching for it, right?
Mhm,
I think somewhere deep down inside, I think I've said this before, but somewhere deep down inside, we all know where we come from and we all remember somewhere subconsciously, consciously as well, that our baseline is a love frequency and love vibration, right?
mhm,
And so when you somewhere within remember that and you're now in a dense situation where you feel a separation from that, a perceived separation from that, you're just constantly looking for it.
right.
And so a lot of your actions, a lot of your fears, a lot of people's fears, they all come from this thought that there's a lack of it.
That that. And that's what it's is frustrating to me is that love is not limited or limiting in its nature. Love is expansive. Love is what did I say earlier? That when you put love and love together, it just expands infinitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember this is making me think about this situation, but I remember at one point in time, and this was probably in my early 30s. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, even though I had plenty of friends that love me, I have parents that love me, because a situation with, a dude I was talking to or whatever didn't work out. And I just felt like nobody can love me. I'm not lovable, right?
Mm.
I'm never going to find my true love, is what I would tell myself all the time. It's just not for me, maybe. Maybe this is just not my lifetime. I'd say that all the time. And what was interesting is that when I stopped searching all the time for it, and people tell you this all the time and it's so freaking annoying. It was so annoying when people they're, "Oh, just stop looking for it. Don't look for it." I'm like, "What the hell?" It would have been nice to receive the advice of, "It's everywhere you look. What are you talking about?" You know?
Absolutely.
Like, take that advice. Remind somebody of that versus stop looking for it.
Never
And
stop looking for it because it's everywhere,
it's
and it's such a
us.
wonderful thing to see and experience even when it's between 2 completely different people and not yourself. I
Yeah.
saw 2 people, like, hugging. I don't know, I was driving down the street and I saw, again, 2 people hugging, and I felt that love.
Oh, I love that. There's this guy on TikTok that does that. Well, he, like, blindfolds himself and he holds a sign for those that are experiencing,
God,
like, anxiety.
I wanna do that, but I don't feel as a woman it's safe.
Oh, sheet.
It's unfortunate because I would love to, like, put myself out there to, like, hug people that need a hug right now.
Yeah, maybe like a bodyguard
Right,
on your
right, I'm
side
gonna
or
need somebody that's
something.
not blindfolded and
Yeah.
standing there, like, with a stick or something.
You're gonna hate editing this episode.
No, I'm not editing anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, truth be told, I that makes a good point. But just this, like, thought process of, can we just share the fact that, and I'm saying it as a fact, right? Because that's how I know it. And if you feel like your facts are different, that's okay, you know? Look into that. And so, do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, no, well, I'm waiting for the rest of it.
Okay. If you it's been a long week. But if you feel I feel that the fact of the matter is that we are love. Everything is love. Every single ounce of all of our experiences are love. Now, we start to experience things from a point of separation, which means that somebody that is feeling so freaking separated from the base element of love, where they have now acted in fear and
Lack
translates to
also.
anger and lack, and has then done something to cause harm to somebody else because of their perceived separation,
Mhm.
right? And that sucks. Those experiences suck. I've had those experiences myself,
Yeah.
right? We all know that. But can you come back to it? Can you bring yourself back to the fact that love is everything around us
Mhm. Mhm.
and there is no separation of that? And it doesn't matter who you are, what you wanna look like, who you wanna be, how you wanna have that conversation.
I have a tough question for you.
Okay?
Can you find love for the person that did harm?
You can. It's hard.
Mhm.
It's hard. And I think that's kind of the base element of the keyword forgiveness, right?
Yes.
So, you can. It's up to you, right? It's up to you. I think there's a lot of relief and release in being able to do that because, again, that person was likely acting from a place of perceived separation.
Mhm. Man, that's tough.
Oh,
But, I
yeah.
mean, that's in alignment with my beliefs as well,
Yeah.
for sure, that while it's a challenge,
Yeah.
yay for
It was a real
challenges.
real Earth School moment right there, y'all.
'Cause challenges foster growth, yay. But it's true.
Yeah.
Like, when somebody does harm to us or we perceive something as harmful from somebody else, can we find a place to forgive and still send love out rather than send thoughts of harm back to them?
Yeah.
Because that's really something I think important to recognize is that, when we fight fire with fire, we get more fire, right? So when we fight anger with anger or harm with harm, all we're getting is more of that.
Yeah.
There's
I
no peace or release involved with that. But when we fight fire with love, love extinguishes all things.
all things. Oh, because I keep hearing in my head right now, it is how you can let go,
Mhm. Mhm.
which
And
letting
man,
go removes the weight, which allows you to move forward and on
mhm, and flow more freely.
and flow more freely. Exactly. And
Absolutely.
trust me, Carrie and I are talking from places of knowing how to forgive and send love
Because
to
these are things that we've practiced and still have yet to practice in some areas too.
absolutely.
Because 'Cause we're humans.
For you. We're also part of this stupid Earth School sometimes.
Yes. We also make stupid mistakes.
It's very frustrating, Earth School. That is testing me this week.
But, again, love is not limited. Love is for everybody. Love should be shared.
This is slightly political, I guess, if you wanna listen to it that way. But this is why I get so frustrated with those that wanna continue to make rules, I'm gonna say that, rules
Laws,
around around, limiting
limiting our freedoms.
to love.
Mhm.
Yeah, to be loved, to experience love, to practice it in any way we wish,
Yeah.
right? And to share it in any way we wish. Always and forever not causing harm to other people, of course, but, I just
They need to just get the heck out of our business.
stay up out of here. Stay up out
And
of here.
you know what really
For
irks
real.
me is when, like, people are devout in their faith, the faiths that speak of love and try to teach love and tell you to lead with love, and they wanna, like, shake the book in your face, but they're not doing the things, they're doing the opposite. Like, it's so frustrating how people can be, so hypocritical and so blind sometimes, and maybe that's their path to learn, and again, what do? We send them love, we stand up, and we say, "Love is for everyone."
And that's the conviction you're gonna stay in,
Mhm.
right? It's there's been a lot of things that have happened again in this world, on this planet over time and time and time and time again. Even in my own PLR, I clearly experienced a couple lifetimes where I might have been partaking in some of the adventures of war, right?
Mm, mhm.
But there's been a lot of like crimes, you know, against humanity, honestly, that have been done over the name of whether of love
Religion
and
and
love.
love. Yeah, both.
You've had people commit some serious crimes because they love that person so much, you know? So, I mean,
And
it
I think
happens.
that's, like, man, that's a tough one too. Because
Mhm.
is it really love?
No, it's the fear of losing what they thought they had as
Mm,
love. Their own personal definition or the definition they were told to have. That's usually where that comes from. Again, it stems from fear. Fear is
mhm.
not love. It is not
And
a love
maybe
frequency.
also and yeah, maybe that's something they would have learned from family, that love means being angry. if they watch that in their family dynamic.
Right. Which is
That breaks
that's
my heart.
heartbreaking. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. And I've had to remind people that I love and care about that that's not that's not you. That's not the real you.
Talk about breaking a cycle, like, being able to recognize that, and,
Mhm.
like, I'm just thinking as, like, a parent, if they experienced, like, any form of abuse growing up, and once they are becoming a parent themselves, like, acknowledging, "I don't want my child to experience that. I want them to experience the love that I didn't feel I had."
Yeah.
We can
And
break the cycle.
we can. We really can. And it goes back to the thought process that it's always going to come from some outside element than yourself,
Mhm.
right? Which is why it's so helpful. It's so helpful for all of us to start working within.
Absolutely, like, that's where we build the foundation
Yes.
of love is with self-love.
Yeah. See self-love series.
Yeah. We'll tag it below
Yeah.
in the show notes.
That's why we
Oh,
felt it was important to make a series. Okay.
hopefully course coming soon.
We're working on it. It's intense.
Yeah, that's a big learning curve.
It's a
We're just
huge
proud
learning
we're still
curve.
going on the podcast for 2 years.
Just working on it, man. Oh,
Oh,
great convo.
alrighty. We decided today that we're going to provide some self love to ourselves and give us a little time after the recording to go take care of self and also take care of our personal relationships.
Yay.
So, we decided for the collective card reading today that we will do a single card. And so, I shuffled my
Mhm.
deck every time.
Every time. It never fails. I can be a
Today,
child. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
it's called playing with inner child. It's totally fine.
Exactly.
So today we are using oof that glare, the Priestess of the Light Oracle deck by Sandra Ann Taylor and Kimberly Weber. We'll put the link down below for the card deck if you want to check that out in our Amazon shop. So I shuffled the cards several times, asked our guides like what does the collective need to know about love right now, and please share a message with us so that we can share it with you guys. So one card popped out as I asked. Thank you guys for that. And the card that I received or we received, let me just move my little
Like,
light
"Give it to me,
here.
guides. Give it to me."
Maybe I'll be less glary if I do that. Is friendship.
Ooh, ooh.
And on the bottom, it says support, fun, unity, and play.
Oh,
And this
beautiful.
card, there are two women. One is seated, one is standing behind the other. They have slight smiles standing there on red rocks in like a perceived canyon of sorts. So it feels like they're really just experiencing each other's presence and experiencing nature and just appreciating that support that they get from one another. What did you
Oh.
feel into that card?
Well, you know what's interesting is that I was just thinking of, oh, what is the name of that? It's a movie, and there's a part 2 that's coming out soon, Dune.
Okay.
It reminded me of Dune for some
Hmm.
reason, and specifically the part of Dune where he meets this girl, and we haven't gotten to that part of the movie yet, like, that's in the 2nd one, but that particular journey to who he's going to find as the person that they're gonna be in love with, or they're supposed to fall in love, if I remember this correctly from the books, right? But
You read?
no, my husband did, and he
Oh,
just told
okay.
me. Yeah, come on now.
That's why I was surprised.
I was like, "You're the reader and he's the reader. I don't need to do it." I'm more of an audio only person,
That's
okay?
why I was surprised.
Don't let all these books in my background fool you. I
They're
will
picture
br
books.
I will peruse, but, I mean, the first thing I thought about was that, the journey to all the
Mhm.
hardships that happened to get to a place of realizing like this aspect of who you are is and your baseline that we talked about today and how that can provide you this abundant amount of friendships because you're allowing yourself to open up more to those experiences which will give you the joy which will allow you to feel the unity I specifically said allow you to feel the unity and not find unity
Mhm.
because it's just everywhere and it exists already. It's whether or not you feel it and accept it and perceive it.
Mhm. It's like we're walking around with our eyes closed and we're like, "Where is
Where
it?
are
I
you?
can't find the love." And it's just like, "Open your fucking eyes."
Yeah, it's freaking annoying, isn't it? And we say that again from our own personal fucking experiences. So, but I also noticed the 14
Mhm.
at the top. And I'm gonna go ahead and reference Sacred Scribes, Joanne Scribes website.
The angel
Uh
numbers.
the angel numbers. So angel number 14 is a message from the angels asking that you keep your focus, positive affirmations and intentions manifesting your goals and aspirations. It is a message that you act with caution and wisdom. You will be successful in business, money matters, and life in general. Hmm. Begin worthwhile projects that will bring long term benefits and future success.
I tell
Didn't
you
see that.
what will give you future benefits and success is having an amazing friend group.
Agreed. Man, when you
Feeling well
put,
supported, like, that's what friendships
yeah,
do, right? True friendships, they allow you to be yourself. There's total acceptance. They're silly if that's your personality type. I know that's mine. I am a goofball, and, like, I
I'm gonna raise
around
my hand.
around you, I let her play, and I
Aw.
don't feel like I have to hold back. I feel like we play off of each other, and I trust you, and I know that there's always love in that interaction, and even when we're not interacting.
Yeah,
Like, there is no doubt in my mind that you love me and I love you. Like,
absolutely.
there's not a condition attached to that. There's strings. Like, "You'll never leave me." I find you.
I'll find you. Be like, "Bitch, don't go nowhere."
Yeah. That's the condition. No, I would love you even if you went somewhere. I would just have a hard time with it.
I would just have to call with a lot of angry words.
But, not only do friendships provide all those positive things, oh, yes, this is more positive things, but, like, when you are down, they lift you up. When
Yeah,
you are scared, they turn on the light for you. Like, when you don't know which way to turn, they show you the direction.
and
And one other thing that I wanted to mention is when you do develop a intimate love relationship with a spouse, I don't know about you, but it's important to me that they're also my friend
oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, this is the person you see all the time.
all the time.
And we had a situation on this planet not too terribly long ago that really requires you to dig deep and remember how much you love somebody. So,
And
like,
that's why a lot of people broke up at that time.
what's that for you? So yeah. So I mean, you saw some things, right? Like you're with them 24/7. Cannot separate. So angel number 14 in this last bullet that I'm gonna read at
Mhm.
least encourages progressive change, renewal and growth, and tells
Mm.
you to share your knowledge and wisdom with others. I feel like that was for us. It also tells you that what you put your efforts towards will reap rewards in the future.
So you reap what you sow. If you put love out in the world, it's gonna
You
come
will.
back to you threefold.
We'll just come right on back. I
Like, and
will
that's
say,
go ahead.
sorry. I will say this, because I would like others to experience what we've experienced recently. And so I will say this. Think about what it's like to go within a group of individuals, allowing yourself to perceive the love. and allowing others to give it back. And then working with
Mm.
those friends to be self empowered and what it's like to be surrounded by a group of individuals having all of their experiences and lessons to share and sharing that with you along with their newfound power and expansive love. It is one of the best gifts I've ever seen.
It was an incredible experience.
Yeah,
I wish I could just live in that all the time.
just
But that's the thing, right? Like,
total
that's
wrap
the
me in it.
challenge is, like, how do we get to a place where we are living it all the time,
Yeah.
you know?
Stay tuned.
So, from the guidebook of the deck, I'm just gonna read a couple sentences out of here. The profound kindred connection shared is clearly a wellspring of ongoing support and happiness. There is a powerful vibration that comes from a connection forged in shared history, philosophy, and loving experiences. It is a palpable yet often unspoken union that brings deep feelings of support. This card encourages you to get together with others for the simple intentions of fun and play.
Yay.
The times when you share these magical vibrations will spread the irresistible resonance of joy exponentially through their life and yours. Um, so just like joy, it's love will spread exponentially through your life and theirs.
Ah, bravo, deck. Bravo.
And you know what? If you don't feel like you can truly be yourself around your friends, I'd reevaluate that. Like, practice putting yourself out there so that you can actually receive full acceptance. Because if you are truly only accepting acceptance based on the mask that you wear, that's not going to satisfy your self-worth and your thoughts about yourself.
Agreed.
If you always have to wear that mask, are you truly loving yourself too?
And if you want to take some advice from somebody who has experienced this just in the last few years, when you do start to become more of who you want to be and you start sharing that with others, you might be surprised with those that still stick around
Mhm.
and fully accept you.
Mhm. And then you don't have to waste the other energy on the other people.
Exactly.
Final point on this message, the affirmation that's included in this is I open myself to the supportive connections around me. I join in the fun and joy that these loving friendships can bring. So I
Yeah.
hope you guys can take that affirmation and utilize that and just know that love is expansive. It's never ending. There's no limit. There's always enough to go around. And that when I mean, I just get this image of, like, bunnies doing it
Oh, no.
because they produce so often. Like, that is love in my head, like, not the doing it part, but the amount of, like, reproduction.
Replication.
Yes.
I was like, replication.
It, like, just replicates and replicates and replicates. It does.
She said it. She said it. I love you.
Oh, I love you. Oh, alrighty, guys. Don't forget we are on social media.
Oh, yeah, we are.
So send us some love wherever you play on the socials. So on Facebook, Instagram at Love Always Self. We're also on TikTok at Love Always Self. We need to get a little thing down there.
A little tiki-talkie? Little
Yeah.
tiki-talkie symbol? We should. Oh, yeah, that's right, because we did add ourselves to TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also find us on YouTube if you're not here already.
We have
we
a
have
website.
That is lovealwaysself.com. You can find us there. Also, again, the deck that we use today can be found on our shop on our website at lovealwaysself.com under Amazon Shop.
And, in my defense, in the studio, it's a little tiny square with a bunch of buttons, and all I gotta press, and these little guys pop up. So I'm just not used to this format anymore.
No,
Alright.
this is great. This is great. Um, If you guys wanna share your love with us, please subscribe, leave us
Yes.
reviews, hit the notification bell, share the podcast with your friends because we wanna spread the message of love. We wanna share and unify and lift up, so don't you wanna do the same thing for your friends and family?
I know, right? Share that. God.
Oh,
And I just want to do a quick friendly reminder that I'm Shira. This is Curry stuff.
uh, also Carrie, whichever, you know.
Also, Carrie. It's really hard for me to call you Priestess. Sorry about that.
It's weird when you say it.
It is weird. It's really
It's okay when
strange.
I say my name, but when you
Yeah,
say my name, it's weird.
it's freaking weird. So, all right. And don't forget,
To love first
love last.
and love always, guys. Y'all have
Ah,
a wonderful day, and we love you.
mwah. Bye, everybody.
Hey, listener, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and we look forward to our next connection.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms linked in the show notes below.
I'm Karista,
And I'm Shira.
and until next time, remember to love first
Love last.
and love always. Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you choose to take upon the information in this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from the information discussed in this podcast.